Good morning, good morning, good morning. How's everybody doing on this beautiful Sunday morning? I didn't get on here and blab yesterday morning, so I figure I owe y'all one. Plus, too, after watching it back, the last chat that I did, I like it. How this phone does live. So I'll probably be doing this on the phone here, here from now on. I like how this phone does live. I did some tarot readings live on my phone the other night too, because something happened with the MacBook. We went out, and then, man, I'm that type. I think it's all the Virgo energy in me. If I have work to do, I can't have fun. I can't have fun if I have work to do. So, like, I had a bunch of work that I knew I needed to get done, and we went out. I just dealt with it. We got back. I jumped straight in here, and for some reason, my MacBook, the settings got changed to where it denied access to the camera, to YouTube. So I was like, man, I ain't got time for this shit. So I busted the phone out, and I was like, man, I love how this phone does live, man. Anyway, what's up with y'all? We got in here, we got Carl, Donna, Michaela. What's up, y'all? Howdy doody. Howdy doody. Oh, I'm waking up slow. Waking up slow. And I don't talk about it as much as I used to, but my legs, man. I'll still be working out. I used to talk about it all the time, I don't really talk about it that much anymore, but I'll still be working out. Oh, I have not stopped working out. Oh, no. Oh no, and now we're on that level. We're on it's gotten to the point now where Coach Drew has broken everything down to a science. Because for the first year, I guess, we just had to get my body going and active. I never been very active unless it was for my job. But I've never been into fitness or movement or anything like that. So I had to get my body up and going and fired up. Took about a year. And then after we got my body moving and active and started shedding weight and dropping fat, we had to start teaching each muscle what to do. So then we started boring little simple movements until I got the movements right and my muscles. Now that we got that part down, we did that for about 6 months. Now he went through and he calculated. He literally used math to calculate my 1 rep max. He would just load me up, and he used some kind of system where he would load me up until I would fail, and then he would bust out the calculator and do some calculations. And for my bench press, I think my 1 rep max is 225, I think. And for the deadlift, it's 350 or something. I don't remember the exact numbers, but anyway, just to let y'all know, I'm still working out, and I'm still sore all the time. All the time, I'm still sore. And this past Friday was leg day, and I'm hurting. Ooh, getting up and down is not fun. But anyway. Oh no, I don't skip leg day. Oh hell no. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'm always doing some kind of leg work. Always. Yes, we do have leg day, but he has me do some kind of leg work every single day. That's why I need the rest of my body to catch up to my legs. Because my legs are in very good shape. Very good shape. They are fucking rocks, dude. So, yeah, I need the rest of my body to catch up to that. Now, the weak points, I'm starting to build my chest. This right here, since we've been bench pressing. This is the newest growth that I've got. Is right here, my chest muscles. Now, the weak points that we got to work on are my biceps and my shoulders. Because I'm lagging behind in my biceps. I need to get some growth here because I'm kind of weak here. and in my shoulders. So we're going to be digging down for the next probably 6 to 8 months, really going hardcore on biceps and shoulders just to get everything all caught up. You know, it's fun, man. It's a weird journey. It's fun. I'm so glad that I started doing this. I can't even imagine every single day, every day. Well, maybe not every day, but most days I'll get on Facebook and it'll say, you have memories to look back on. And like if I look at a video or something that I posted like 2-3 years ago, and I see how fucking fat I was, oh my God, I had this big old fat basketball head. I can't even imagine where I would be right now if I didn't start working out, you know? I can't even imagine. Can't even imagine, dude. Can't imagine. Best decision I ever made. But anyway, I had to go on a little tangent there because I haven't talked about that in so long. But anyway. Brain function during training? No, I haven't looked a whole lot at that. No. Buns of steel, yeah, something like that. Something like that, I guess. But and the funny thing is, like, okay, so today we're more than likely going on a hike. You know, it's getting to that time of year. We're in the springtime. Every weekend we go on hikes. And last Sunday, we went on a hell of a mean-ass hike. We hiked Arizona Hot Springs. And that was a beast. 6.5 mile hike out in the desert. That was a beast, you know, climbing mountains and shit. And when we were done, Leah was just fucking torched. She was torched. And I was too. But, you know, once we got home, showered, rested, I'm like, okay. And she's like, how are you just like not phased? I was like, what do you mean? She goes, I'm dying. I can't even move. And I said, you don't comprehend the level of pain that I'm in every single day, do you? You just can't, I don't really talk about it anymore because I'm just used to hurting all the time, you know? All day, every day, something hurts. All day, every day. All day, every day. I'm used to it. I'm used to it. And I figured out throughout the journey that that's the goal. The goal is not to get fit. The goal is not to lose weight. The goal is I become somebody who goes to the gym. That's the goal. That's the goal. That's what I do. This is the new me. I'm a dude that goes to the gym. I work out. And that's second nature to me. That's a habit. That's just part of my daily routine. And then getting fit and thin manifests as a result of that. You know, it's a frequency change, just like everything else. Know what I mean? Yeah. So anywho, what y'all up to this morning? Got any fun plans for the week? But this is the last week of winter, isn't it? Man, is it just me? This last winter fucking flew by, dude. Flew by. Time is just going faster and faster, and it's starting to scare me a little bit, y'all. I'm kind of scared. Like every now and then if I stop and think about it, like it's flying by so fucking fast, it scares me. It seriously freaks me out, you know? And if you think about it, this is the cool part too that I think is fascinating. You hear everything that we've been going through now. My grandmother actually spent the last few years of her life preparing me for everything we've been going through over the past few years, you know? Because it's all been predicted. It has all been predicted. Now, a lot of people mention the end of time. The end of time. And I think back in the day when we heard that, I don't think we quite understood what they meant. When you hear the end of time, you think the end of life. No, it's not the end of life, it's the end of time. And when I heard it put that way, I was like, whoa, holy shit, the end of time. Ever since the clock struck 2020, we've just been living one long, drug-out year. Have you noticed that? Have you noticed that? It's been one long, drawn-out, drug-out year. It doesn't, like every year that passes, it doesn't feel like a year used to back before 2020. It just doesn't feel like it. Anybody else with me on that? It just feels like it's been one big year, one big long year, you know? It does not feel like it 20, 21, 22. It doesn't feel like we're on the third year of the 20s, 2020s, you know? But anyway, we got the kids back the very first day of 2020. It's just been one long drug out year. It's going so fast, man. This winter just flew the fuck by. Where'd it go? Man, Christmas came and gone. Phew, then my birthday came and gone. Phew, now here it's about Aries season. I'm looking forward to it though. I always get sick of every season right at the very end. Right at the very end, I get sick of it, you know? Right now, around September, October, I'm like, okay, I'm sick of the heat. Let's get some chilly, cold weather. Now it's been chilly and cold. I'm like, okay, I'm sick of this shit. Yeah, man, it is going. I know it's not just me. I know that I have a very different lifestyle than most people. I know that, but I don't care, man. It can't be just me. Because I would think, I don't know, maybe that could have something to do with it. But I've been hearing a lot of people say the same thing. That everything every day flies by so fast. I mean, I'm talking, it's even the hours in the day. You know? The days back in 3D, y'all remember 3D, right? Y'all remember 3D. I remember 3D. Oh man, the days just went on and on and on and would never come to an end. You know, when you gotta get up and you gotta go to work. Oh, that first hour, just miserable. I think that's what a lot of what it has to do with. The frequencies are raising on the planet so much now that really is what makes, see, the third dimension. The thing with the third dimension is you had to agree to have your frequencies lowered as low as possible in order to make the 3D Earth game intense. In order to make the 3D Earth game intense, you had to have a low vibration. And the lower your vibration, the slower time passes. And that's the whole point of the 3D game. You know, was to be in a game where linear time passes, you know, and that is much slower and more dense the lower your frequency is. Now the frequencies of the planet are raising, though. The frequencies of the planet are raising. That's why time, I guess, is going by so fast. Man, I swear, I'm going to get off this live right here. I got 2 personal readings to do. By the time I'm done with that, somehow it's going to be like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And I'm going to be like, what the fuck? Where'd the morning go? You know what I mean? And next thing you know, choom, 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 choom. Then it's sun's going down, and by the time I lay down for bed, I'm like, where did this fucking day go? It just goes by so fast, man. I know it can't just be me, right? Anyway. Clock slipped forward, what? Oh, so like what, every clock slipped forward? That'd be cool. The dimension slip, man. I love dimension slips, dude. I love them. It's fun. It's fun. And like, you know, the funniest part to me, like, I guess I get wrapped up in my own little bubble, you know, of my own little bubble world. And I just assume that everybody notices these things, you know? And then when you mention something like on my Facebook page, whenever I mention a dimension slip, you know how many, like, there are some 3D humans that do follow me. There are a few, not many, but there are a few who, they get mad. They get so fucking mad when you bring that up. They will fight you. They get mad. They get so pissed when you start like talking about how much of an illusion this game is that they love so much. They get mad. It's like, dude, what are you so fucking mad for? You know, like you talk about any kind of dimension slip or Mandela effect. Oh, do you know how offensive that is to 3D humans who love this game? Anyway, though. Anyway, it's fun. I love them. Yeah, I do think the time change is fucking stupid, isn't it? Fucking dumb, man. Fucking dumb. Yeah, they need to get rid of time changes everywhere. It's fucking stupid. Stupid ass shit. I can remember when I was a kid. I'd be like, why does the time change? My grandpa would be like, because it gets dark earlier. And I'm like, no, it gets dark earlier because you changed the fucking time. And I've never been able to get anybody to give me one straight answer as to why we have to do that. And I've been wondering that since I was a kid. Like, what's the fucking point? Leave the clocks the way they are. So who gives a shit if it, who can, I don't know, man. Arizona doesn't. Last I heard, I'm pretty sure Arizona is the only state in the U.S. that doesn't. But they need to just, I mean, I haven't researched it enough, but I don't fucking trust anything. I don't trust anything that has to do with anything as far as the system, the way this world runs goes, you know? So anyway, yeah. Nah, I don't fucking trust nothing Google says. No, hell no. You kidding me? No. You gotta have your moral compass on if you do Google something. You gotta, man, that's the thing, man. In today's day and age, I'm gonna tell you what, a relationship with the universe and an accurate moral compass, if you ain't got that, I don't know. I don't even know what you're gonna do. I don't even know. I don't know if you don't have your moral compass tuned in 2022, and you can't tell who's bullshitting you and who's not, and who to listen to and who you can't listen to, and who's manipulating you and who's lying to you. There's only one way to determine all that, and that is to have an accurate moral compass, you know? That's why I do what I do. We haven't talked about this in a while, but it became very apparent to me, that the part that I play as just one of the many, many team members of volunteers who are here, the part that I play is throughout the process, there are some people who are on the front lines, like fighting the fight. And I just don't feel like I belong on the front lines. Okay? Because there are also bad people on the front lines too. Okay? There are people posing as good people on the front lines too. So my job is, before you get up to the front lines, you run into me. And I teach you how to take control of your own energy. And when you take control of your own energy, one thing that happens by default is that your blindfold comes off and your bullshit-o-meter gets real sensitive. That happens by default. When you start taking control, conscious control of your own frequency, your own energy, you start doing things to create certain outcomes in your life, and you start, by default, developing that little relationship with the universe. It's just like a default setting. Your bullshit-o-meter gets sensitive, and you take the blindfold off. And then from that point, you have the ability to decipher who you can and can't trust. That's the part that I kind of play here, you know? So, a really weird way to fucking do it. That's like the definition of my life is weird anyway. It's the definition, you know? So, yeah, everything about what I do is weird as fuck. They what? Voted in Congress this week to stay on daylight. Man, I've been hearing that. I've been hearing little things like that. I have. That'd be cool. I mean, good. Hopefully. I don't know. We'll have to see. There's a few sources. And I actually haven't even really went to my sources for a while that I go to for information. You know, there's very few. Very fucking few. Very few sources that I go to for information. But it's to the point now, I don't know where any of y'all are. It's to the point now, though, to where I am so confident and so at peace with the fact that we're making this shift that I don't even really care as much as I used to. I used to follow all kinds of truth information and stuff like that, and I just don't anymore. I haven't paid any attention. It's just, I don't know how to explain it. I'm just so at peace with where we are. I'm so at peace with where we are that I don't even really care what's going on out there anymore. You know, not really. Not really. We made it. We made it. Now, I would say between now and 2025 is gonna be the biggest rest of the split off. You know, there's still a couple of timelines that are merged together right now that still have to split off, but we all came together. All timelines and all possibilities came together at once. And when you hear it worded that way and you think back on it, it's like, dude, that is legit though. Every timeline that every person was on all merged together and came together at once and was all coexisting simultaneously. Never in the history of never have you been able to be standing right next to somebody and you all be living in two completely different universes. You know? That's what we've been going through. It's like, dude, you know? Oh, well. I think we've done a pretty good job. I think we've done a pretty good job. Thank you for the positive feedback, Val. Appreciate you. Wish you all luck on your journey. Everybody out there doing the good thing, fighting the good fight, man. Be careful though, don't fight too hard. Don't fight too hard. But anyway, I'm getting pumped up this morning. I know that I thought that made sense too when I heard it that way. I thought that made sense too when I heard it that way. I mean, during the healing process, the healing process sucks. That's the thing people don't understand about it. That's the thing people don't understand about the healing process is that it sucks. It's not fun. The process isn't fun. When you're done with the process, when you've popped out the other side, but the process of healing sucks. That's why most people don't want to do it. That's why most people during their healing, their way of healing is just to try to bury it and forget about it. So they don't have to go through all that miserable shit. You know, a big part of the healing process is figuring out why that thing just happened. That's a big part of the healing process. First thing I have to figure out is why did that thing just happen? 99% of the time, that thing that I'm healing from happened because my frequency is fucked up and I attracted it into my life. So, a big part of the healing process is changing frequencies. A big part of the frequency changing process is taking my own brain and ripping it apart and rebuilding it. You know, the healing process is not fun while you're in the middle of it. While you're in the middle of it, you know. But the further down the healing process you get, and another thing about it too, and this is probably the most frustrating part. Sometimes, in order for the healing process to work properly, it has to take a certain amount of time. It has to. Oftentimes, in order for it to work properly, it has to take a certain amount of time. See, time does not equal healing. Healing equals time. Does this make sense? I hope I'm not getting too confusing. And the example that I always give everybody, this is just a teeny little example. My fucking career. What do you think inspired my career? What do you think inspired? What do you think put me here doing what I'm doing for a living? You think I floated here on a fucking cloud playing a harp? Oh no. Oh no. I got fucked over. That's what happened. I got fucked over. And this person that did me dirty climbed up in my head, bought up all the real estate in my head, and dominated my thoughts for like 2 fucking years. And you all know the story. I'm not going to get into all the little details of the story, but fast forward, after this accidentally exploded into this career that just completely and totally changed my fucking life in a way that I never would have been able to figure out how to do if left to my own devices. I was sitting around thinking about it one day, and I was like, damn, man, I still, after all this, never got the clarity on that situation that I wanted. I still never got the clarity. I still never found out why the fuck she did that to me. And then it hit me. My career. That's why. Holy shit. That's the reason why. That's why she did that to me. So that my career could happen. And dude, I'm going to tell you what, the minute I made that realization, that energy that had been living with me for 3 years, jumped out of my head, ran away, and it hasn't been back since. The minute I made that realization. But I had to take it upon myself to willingly make that realization. I could easily still, right now, be playing the victim. Boo-hoo me, this person fucked me over, it was such bullshit, blah, 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 blah. I could still be doing that. And it would be unresolved energy, you know? Now, that healing process had to take time. It had to. It had to. Looking back, there's no way I could have snapped my fingers and healed from that. There's no way. There's no way. Many times, see, I try to fit this in the best way that I can, but I seriously believe, I don't think that it's possible to heal from something without altering the trajectory of your life path. That comes in by default. That comes in by default, you know? So, as you begin to get off the path that you're on, that's going to take some time. Sometimes, depending on where you're at in life, the path that you're on, here's the analogy I like to use. Because one question that kind of bothers me sometimes is when people ask me, am I on the right path? It bothers me sometimes. And I'll tell you why. Imagine that you are at a gas station in Houston, Texas, and somebody walks up to you and says, hey, I'm on my way to Minnesota. Am I on the right road? There is no right road, wrong road. But there is a general direction you need to be headed. You know, when you're planning out this life before incarnation, all right, I'm going to go play this character named Rich. All right, I'm going to start here and I'm going to end here. And here's the path that I'm going to try to take. I'm going to try to take this route and do these things. I look at that like, okay, I'm in California. I'm going to make my way to New York. And here's the route that I want to take. You know, I want to go through Arizona, through Nevada, up this way, and whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. So there is no right path, wrong path, but there's a general direction. And your higher self has the big picture. We don't see it. You're like a little piss ant crawling through the carpet, trying to get from one side of the room to the other. That little piss ant cannot fucking comprehend that it's in a room, that's in a house, that's on a street, that's in a neighborhood, that's in a fucking city, that's in a state, that's on a continent, that's on a planet. It can't comprehend all that, just like you cannot fucking comprehend what you really are doing here in this life. So your higher self sees all of that. It sees all that. It has a much bigger picture of what it is that you... So if you're headed in the wrong direction in life, the other side is throwing shit at you, you know? Little synchronicities, coincidences, you know, yelling at you, but we ignore it. We ignore it. So if I'm in California headed for New York, but I'm barreling down towards Florida, all these signs, no, take this exit, next exit, take this exit, take this exit. So you know what has to happen most of the time? You know what the other side uses? A lover. You want to get a human's attention? Send a lover. That'll get a human's attention every fucking time. So this person comes into your life, becomes energetically entangled, they separate, and you don't know what's going on. But that person's energy being stuck to you has hog-tied you and is dragging you down the path you need to be on. And that's what's happening. And because the universe had to resort to that, you're not allowed to know what path you're on. You're not allowed to know. Because if you knew, first of all, the other side wouldn't have needed to go that route. Second of all, you'd sabotage the path. You would sabotage it if you knew. So it has to take a certain amount of time, and you're not allowed to know exactly what direction you're headed in. You're not allowed to know. So a lot of times the healing process has to take time, and it sucks. It's not fun, you know? But my favorite, when all else fails, my favorite thing to do is just acknowledge to yourself what positive is coming out of it. It can be hard sometimes. Hang on, I'm gonna turn my heater off. Yeah, it can be hard sometimes. It can be real hard, but you acknowledge what positive is coming out of it. Because you can find something. Oh yeah, you can. Yes, you can. You know what one of the biggest mistakes is, though, that we make? We build our identity around trauma. That's one thing that'll really slow it down. You don't want to build your identity around trauma. You know, I am this way because this thing happened to me. Well, if you go about it with that mentality, it's going to make it really fucking difficult for you to actually see the full scope of the bigger picture. You know, that thing happening was meant to make something happen, but traumatize you is not what that thing was. But if that's all you allow yourself to see, you're probably not going to heal. Because if you allow yourself to see that there was actually a bigger meaning than that, then it'll make your identity completely irrelevant. Nobody wants their identity to be irrelevant, right? I don't know. I don't mind it. After you've been on that path for a while, you know, those things kind of tend to be irrelevant, and you won't want to build your identity around trauma anyway. So, but yeah, whoever said that, something about setbacks in the healing process, it's very normal. The healing process sucks. You know, man, I swear, we got to get more people on board in the spiritual community, telling the truth about the path, telling the truth about it, you know. I don't care who it is you're watching. I don't care who it is you're listening to. I don't care what tarot card reader or famous psychic or whoever it is that you're listening to. We all just regular ass fucking humans. We are all just regular, ordinary, everyday ass fucking humans just like you. Ain't nothing special about none of us. We ain't up on no pedestal. We don't have no special superpowers that you don't have. We're all just regular ass humans. So when you get all these people in the spiritual community, I would get hung up on my path because I had that mentality too. I'll be the first to admit it. You know, you subconsciously take people like me, you know, who have a platform and a large audience, and without realizing it, you put them up on this big pedestal. Like they're something so special, and they're fucking not, you know? So I would get hung up because these people I would listen to, I would accidentally put them up on this big pedestal and didn't even realize it. But they wouldn't be telling the whole truth about the path. All they'd be talking about is the fluffy shit. You know, the fluffy, love and light, and fluffy stuff. And don't get me wrong, it does get pretty fucking fluffy and woo-ah. We'll get to that point later. But between rock bottom and fluffy duffy shit, there is a big gap. There's a big gap that the last I checked, I don't know, it might be different nowadays, but at least when I was on my path, before I spread my own wings and flew, nobody was talking about that gap between rock bottom and the top of the mountain. You know, nobody really talks about that. Nobody in the spiritual community, that is, not really. There's plenty of motivational speakers and whatnot that'll talk about that. But yeah, man, it sucks. It's not fun. But one thing that you'll learn too on the path is that, like y'all, okay, I've talked about this on Instagram many times. This dimension is dualistic. Dualistic. Okay? There's two ends of each spectrum. Right and wrong, good and bad, up and down, left and right. They have to coexist. Light and dark have to coexist. They have to. The problem is we have most people chasing pleasure. Like me, for years. Chasing pleasure. We've been given this idea, we've been brainwashed into believing that your number one priority in this life is to find as much pleasure as you possibly can and do as little as possible and be as comfortable as possible. Okay? Well, if you chase that end of the spectrum, what's the other end of the spectrum? Pain, suffering. That's the other end of that spectrum. So if you chase pleasure and comfort, pain and suffering has to be thrown at you randomly to balance it back out. We need to flip that around. This is one thing that you learn in the gym. It's one thing I learned in the gym. Because I didn't believe that shit either. I didn't believe that bullshit either when I first heard it. And then I realized, dude, my life is so fucking great because I chase my pain and suffering. I willingly put myself through suffering, pain, and hell. And then now the universe just randomly throws pleasure at me. I flipped it around. It's the other way around. You know? So we need to get up out of that mentality that our goal is to create as much pleasure as possible. No, it's really not. That's not the goal. There is never a finish line in this life that you're going to cross. We got to get out of that mentality too, you know, and we all do it, man. We all do it. We all think there's a finish line where we're going to cross through and be like, I made it. That's never going to happen. Never going to happen. Nope. It's never going to happen. You got to constantly be searching for the next thing, the next mountain to climb, the next goal to accomplish, or even just the next person you can help, you know, just whatever it is that your path consists of, you know. Oh, anyway, I don't really have a solid landing point for any of that. This is why I love these chats in the morning. This right here gets my brain fired up. Gets my brain fired up and ready to go. And a couple of personal readings to do. I think one of them's due at 4 and one of them's due at 9. Got to think of some good stuff to read, man, on my main channel. I think it's some good stuff to read. I started April too early. I usually don't like starting on the next month until at least like the 21st. So I started April a little bit because I got too fucking ahead of myself. You know? So anyway. Yeah, no, healing isn't pretty. No. Yeah. I would absolutely, I would look at it as a rebirth process because the healing process requires you to change who you are. You know, people ask me in personal readings all the time, like, will I ever be able to just let go and move on? And I'm like, no, you won't. No, you won't. That's not the point. That's not healing. Letting go and just moving on. When we hear healing, we think we're healing like we heal from a physical wound. Like if I fall and break my arm, I just wrap it up and wait. And then I wake up one day, take the cast off, and it healed itself. So we try to approach spiritual, emotional, and psychological healing the same way. Well, fuck, I'm heartbroken right now. I guess I'll just wait. You know, some people like me for years will turn to drugs and alcohol, try to make it go numb as possible for as long as possible until it goes away. Oh, no. Oh, no. It's not going away. Oh, no. Oh, no, it's not going away. It ain't going nowhere. That energy, you are never going to be able to just let go of it and move on from it. No. That's how karma is born. That's how karma is created, because now it's unresolved. Now that thing happening is just totally unresolved. That's why there are so many karmic humans on the planet right now. I guarantee you, I could go downtown to the strip and walk up to any random person and say, hey, tell me about your latest heartbreak. When's the last time you got your heart broke? I don't care when it was. I don't care if it was a month ago, 6 months ago, a year ago, 5 years ago. I would feel very safe betting that if I asked a random person what the purpose of that experience was in their life, they would all tell me the same thing. What was the meaning of that experience in your life? So you don't know what that was meant to happen for, what part that played in your life, what was the point of that? Oh, well, that's karma. That's karma right there. Because y'all are going to get over to the other side when you leave here. You're going to look back at that and be like, damn, we didn't work it out right. We didn't resolve that. Okay, well, let's go back and try it again. Only this time, you be the boyfriend and I'll be the girlfriend. See if we can work it out that way. Rarely, because each lifetime, that karmic connection makes it even tougher. You know? Because a karmic connection is frustrating anyway. You know, because one of the first things that people ask themselves is, why is this connection so intense? Why is this so intense? Because y'all have been karmically tied since before you were born. That's why it's so intense. That was agreed upon. Y'all have been tied for fucking ever. You know? That's why it's so intense. That's why you can't get away from this person. That's why you were just pulled towards them magnetically, you know? Because you all agreed and tied together karmically in the last lifetime. But that's frustrating, isn't it? The connection is so intense, so magnetic, that the frustration of the connection makes the connection even harder to work through. So that kind of adds to it. It adds to the frustration and it adds to the difficulty, you know? So anyway, I don't have a landing point with that, but what were we talking about? I don't remember why I started saying that. Anyway, let's burn some sage. Get some sage going. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Yeah, that probably means that you were meant to. Your job here is a big one. It's a big one. When you go through trauma like that and you heal from it, it's because you got a big job. Naya was one of those types of people that had a traumatic life like that, like traumatic shit. You know what I mean? And man, I'm gonna tell you what, people like that who go through those kinds of things, 99.9% of the time, it's because you got a huge job. You got a big old job. And the healing process from that kind of trauma in and of itself is what turns you into the person you're meant to become, you know? And most of the time, it's not until after you heal from it and you look back in hindsight and you see, because we, with our human brains, our limited human thinking, can't begin to wrap our mind around why we would agree to come into this life to be traumatized to that level. But then after you heal from it, I mean, like really do some legitimate healing work, then you look back and it makes sense. Oh, I see why that was meant to happen. It makes sense. You know? I say the same thing about people who are dealing with narcissists, you know? Now, I'm talking a real narcissist. A real one. A legit fucking narcissist. Most people who go through that, you're meant to do something pretty big. You are meant to evolve, like major evolution, you know? I remember at one point in time, I actually set out to debunk narcissists. I set out to debunk it. I thought it was bullshit. I didn't believe it. because everybody's a narcissist. Have you noticed this over the past decade or so? Everybody is a narcissist. Everybody. Everybody, everybody, everybody. And I didn't think nothing of it until one day somebody called me a narcissist. And I was like, oh shit, am I? If I am, I want to know so that I can start working to unwire this. And so I dove in and I started researching. And basically what I ended up finding out, I was like, okay, yeah, I do a couple of these things. I do. But you can take some of these things and slap it on anybody. You know, I don't believe it. I've never met one person that fits this whole fucking description from A to Z. So I was like, you know what? I think it's bullshit. It's bullshit, and I'm gonna fucking debunk that bullshit. I don't believe it. And then I ended up dating my first narcissist. Woo! Woo! Some of y'all remember that. I went through that. That was on my journey here on YouTube. Some of y'all remember that. Whoo! Whoo! I didn't even know it was possible for a human to be that sick, dude. Whoo! But you know what? You know what I realized? Going through that, healing from it, popping out the other side, I realized that, and reading and working with people who have gone through that, I've realized we all have one thing in common. And it is after you go through that and you make the decision to break away from it and heal from it, it completely transforms who you are. I mean, you do the level of evolution that you do going from that to popping out the other side and healing is like it turns you into a totally different fucking person. Turns you into a completely different person if you go through the healing, you know? And again, like I was saying earlier, healing sucks. It's much easier to just play the victim and say, poor pitiful me, boo-hoo me. That's easy. That's fucking easy. That'd be really easy for me to still be doing that. But healing, man, you allow yourself to go through the healing and you pop out the other side to the point to where I'm so thankful that happened that I wouldn't change it even if you gave me a time machine. You could put a time machine in front of me right now and say, Rich, you can go back and change anything you want. You're like, man, shove that time machine up your ass. I'm not changing nothing. I love every experience that shaped me and every event that brought me here and molded me into who I am. I love it. Wouldn't change a damn thing. You know, when you go through that level of healing, dude, it totally changes who you are. Completely and totally changes who you are, you know? So, anywho, it's rough stuff, man. But I'm telling you right now, the healing process and the only reason I'm saying that, I'm not saying that to discourage anybody. I'm not. I'm saying it so you know, because I would feel safe betting that the person who kicked off this little talk, who asked about setbacks in the healing process, I would feel safe betting that the only reason that person asked that is probably because they weren't expecting any setbacks in the healing process. They weren't expecting it, you know? Like they may be thinking that they're doing something wrong in the healing process. No. That is the healing process. There will be setbacks. There will be obstacles, you know? That is the way. That is the journey. Through the setbacks and the obstacles, that is the healing path, you know? So that's the only reason I'm not trying to discourage you, just so that for those of you on a healing journey, so you know, oh, the healing journey isn't supposed to just be rainbows and unicorn farts, you know? It will be later. It will be later. Again, I'm not saying that there is no fluffy stuff. There's plenty of fluffy stuff on the other side. But just know, so that if you go into it expecting, okay, this is gonna suck, I gotta heal from this, I gotta do some inner work, it's not gonna be fun, I'm gonna be uncomfortable for now until whenever the light pops on, then it can make it, I don't wanna say easier, because it's not really supposed to be easy, but it'll keep you going. I'm still going. I know it's rough, and I'm not going to quit and abandon the healing path because this is normal, you know? But anyway, man, that's about all I got to say on that. And it is about time for me to get on out of here, too. Another 50 minutes just flew by, speaking of time. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. I don't know when you will see me today. Like I said, I got some personal readings to do, and we are going on a hike because Leah volunteers at the animal shelter. She volunteers once a week, and she is allowed to go pick up a dog and take it for a day and take it on walks and have fun with it and then bring it back. So that's what we're going to go do. We're going to go pick up a doggy from the animal shelter and take it with us on a hike. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be cool. But anyway, I'll see y'all at some point later on today on my main channel. Y'all enjoy the rest of your day.